Hi, everybody. Matt Bernier, joined by DRF's national handicapper, Mike Watchmaker, taking a look at this weekend's Weekend Warrior for the weekend of September the 22nd. Giant day of racing at Parks, but Mike's also going to take a look at a race from Charlestown. First things first, one of the grade ones up at Parks on Saturday for the 3-year-old fillies. It's the grade 1 Cotillion. It's the 10th race carded on Saturday's program. Mike, Monomoy Girl is here. She's going to be a heavy favorite. You're going to take a shot against.
I am. But let me just say up front, Matt, that Monomoy Girl, in my view, has already got the 3-year-old filly championship clinched. I mean, she's been tremendous this year. She's won all 5 of her starts. She's won 4 straight grade 1 races. And her resume reads very much like a 3-year-old filly champion. If that isn't a championship resume, wins in the Ashland, Kentucky Oaks, Acorn, and Coaching Club American Oaks for a 3-year-old filly, then there is no such thing. But that doesn't mean she's invincible in this spot, because she's not. I mean, as good as she is, as adaptable to any pace scenario as Monomoy Girl is, and even the cutback of distance from 1.8 to 1.16 is probably to her benefit as well. As good as she is, I thought Wonder Godot had her absolutely beaten in the stretch of the Kentucky Oaks. And Wonder Godot, I'm going to call her Wonder Godot, forgive me, but Wonder Godot had her beaten in the stretch of the Kentucky Oaks, and she just would not go by. And this was something that was very prevalent in Wonder Godot's performances early this year. She hung in the stretch at Fairgrounds. She hung at the stretch of the Fantasy. After the Kentucky Oaks, she hung in the stretch of the Woodbine Oaks. They finally put blinkers on her. Blinkers makes horses focus. It makes them apply themselves. She just crushed her field in the Queen's Plate, a big field of males. She came back and she crushed her field in the Princess of Wales. Look, I understand that the competition in those races was kind of weak, but the most important thing was the way she applied herself in those races, the way she went about. She went by horses and opened up. It was something that she wasn't doing early this year. I'm not concerned that Wonder Godot was badly beaten in the Travers last time out. She was overmatched on paper going into that race anyway. She wasn't abused when she was beaten. She's worked well since. She's coming back on short rest. I really think that Wonder Godot with blinkers can beat Monomoy Girl in this spot.
One of the other graded stakes on the card Saturday at Parks is the 9th race preceding the Cotillion. It's the grade 3 Gallant Bob. This is a race where the distance may be a major piece to this, especially considering some of the contenders, whether you believe or not, in a horse like Firenze Fire. Maybe he's not at his best at 6 furlongs. Where are you going to go?
Well, I just think Firenze Fire is definitely the horse to beat in this race. Ever since they got it out of their system, his connections got it out of their system, trying to send him long early this year. It didn't work out. He's clearly a much better one-turn horse. Is 6 furlongs too short for him? Maybe. But, his performances in his last 2 starts were just really, really good. I mean, he was explosive winning the Dwyer. The Dwyer, of course, being the race that he went from 6-1 to 5-2 before the first quarter of a mile was done. But after the gates had already opened. And then he came back and he ran very well in the Alan Jerkins last time out. He was a good third after a wide trip. But if you think Firenze Fire, like I think Firenze Fire, is the horse to beat in the Gallant Bob, then you have to give a long look at 7 Trumpets, who's my pick, who's going to be a much bigger price, even though he finished in front of Firenze Fire in the Alan Jerkins. He was 32-1 that day, 7 Trumpets was. But and he saved more ground than Firenze Fire did. But the thing that I liked about his performance is that was a day where I'm completely convinced that the track was kind to speed. And he came from off the pace to run as well as he did. And he finished the game second to his uncoupled entry barn mate in
Promises Fulfilled.
Yes, thank you very much. Who's I should have remembered that, because he's the best 3-year-old sprinter in the country right now. But in any event, it was a strong performance on his part. He's a much improved horse over his last couple of races. I think he's got more improvement in him. And even though he saved more ground than Firenze Fire did, he ran well against the way the track was playing, and I think he's got another step forward in him.
And hopefully there's still some money to be made later on in the evening. Race number 11 at Charlestown. Race isn't supposed to go off till 10:15. 7 furlongs. It's a 2-turn race. The Charlestown Oaks. Really, this is a pretty salty group put together here. They may not be the headliners as far as the 3-year-old fillies are concerned, but this is an interesting race. Where are you going to go?
It's funny you say that, because at this point of the night, Matt, we might have already made a couple of trips to the ATM. But in any event, I hated going against Sense of Bravery in here because she represents an angle that is a pet angle of mine, and that's 3-year-olds who ran against older horses in their last start, now moving back in with straight 3-year-olds. So to me, at any time of the year, it's a significant class drop. And Sense of Bravery ran big in the Groupie Doll Stakes last time out to finish second to Champagne Problems. She finished ahead of 8 other older horses in that race. Champagne Problems came back last week, was beaten the nose of the Locust Grove during the 96 Buyer Figure. I really hated to go against Sense of Bravery in here, but Alter Moon, I just simply can't resist. Alter Moon, her prior form at Gulfstream is good enough to win this race as it is, but she was sold at auction at the Facing Tip in July Horses of Racing Age sale. She went for $675,000, which was the second highest price of that sale. And she made her first start last time out in the Grade 1 test for Chad Brown. And Alter Moon finished 4th in the test, but I'll tell you what, if she wasn't on the dead rail, because the rail was absolutely dead that day, if she wasn't on the dead rail to the top of the stretch, she would have been a lot closer than 4th in that race. And she would have been a lot shorter price if she even bothered running in this race. But, her form is clouded. If we can get 7-2 or 4-1 on her, to me, it's a definite overlay.
Great racing coast to coast on Saturday afternoon. DRF's national handicapper Mike Watchmaker with the Weekend Warrior. You can find the entire write-up for the Weekend Warrior over on drf.com. Great stuff as always, Mike. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, Matt.